He was known as the Sword of Allah, one of the greatest generals in history, one of Islam's greatest heroes. His name, Khalid ibn al-Walid. Sunnahfollowers presents a new series presented by Ustad Mukhtar Shahid. Coming soon, so stay tuned. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
His names, we need to know about them, how to apply them, ponder the meanings behind them.
New class alert! Sunnahfollowers presents the names of Allah. Please join us every Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard with Sister Samar. Streaming on all major platforms, right here, channel Sunnahfollowers.
Be mindful of Allah. He speaks of all things. He speaks of the women and children. Doesn't leave out anything. Leave out anything.
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new class taught by Dr. Ibrahim Jamali. The rights of women and children in Islam, defined by Surah and Nisa. Streaming on all major platforms every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Sunnahfollowers. Sunnahfollowers presents a new upcoming class. Stay tuned. Sacred Bonds by Daryl Abdullah Kirk. Yes, Sacred Bonds, navigating the depths of Muslim matrimony and the family. You don't want to miss this one. Please stay tuned. Streaming on all major platforms right here on Sunnahfollowers.net.
The Muqasid Tafsir.
Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Pursuing the higher aim, learning the meaning of every page. Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end?
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new class, the Muqasid of Tafsir, being taught and brought to you by Ustada Layla Nashiba. Please stay tuned. Streaming on all major platforms, right here on channel Sunnahfollowers. Assalamu alaikum. Get to know your Lord. First part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. This dynamic literary work of art's main goal is to revive an understanding the names and attributes of Allah. In understanding the name and attributes of Allah will elevate our faith, strengthen us and keep us steadfast. This wonderful book is now available in an audiobook format and can be found free of charge on YouTube, channel Kareem Abu Zaid. Get to know your Lord. You have nothing to lose.
You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, is a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
Oh, I'm sorry. In alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I want to welcome everybody to our series of Diluting Wala Wala Bara. Wala Bara. In English, we just simply say Wala Wala Bara. What can I say? Hey, it's my first language, well, second language. All right. So, alhamdulillah, this class is right on target because one of the things that we are faced with here as Muslims living in America is we are all faced with jihad, the struggle of trying to keep our Muslim identity intact. And we look around, we have a lot of Muslim leaders in America, men and women who call themselves Muslim leaders. Be careful of people who pose as leaders. Remember, we talked about how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions to beware of leadership, seeking leadership. Because if you're not qualified, or if you're seeking it for reasons other than fi sabilillah, you know, Allah is not going to help you with it, and you're going to end up succumbing to the people around you, the evil around you. And we see that here in America. I was up last night preparing my classes, my lectures for today. And subhanAllah, I was watching a lot of videos, you know, from famous speakers here in America, and I am just appalled. You know, everything is on video. You can't deny what the people say because you're right there on video, putting your foot in your mouth. I mean, it's really sad. This is elections here in America, and I'm going to continue to speak out like this until it's over. Because the Muslims here in America, many of us got it twisted. Don't get it twisted. You got Muslims here in America who still haven't learned that Allah speaks the truth, that Allah perfected this way of life for us, that Allah taught us how to handle ourselves in all situations, including wartime, including good times, including living in non-Muslim country times. And Allah taught us what we can and can't do. You know, we should never, no Muslim on this planet should ever participate in presidential elections if the candidates running for president are non-Muslims. This is Wala Wala Bara, or in English, Wala Wala Bara. Okay? That's part of the testimony of faith. That's part of the Shahada. My allegiance, your allegiance, our allegiance is not to a country. It's not to a non-Muslim, it's to Allah, to the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Muslims and this religion of Islam. Allah is so clear in the Quran. He tells us, oh, you who believe, do not take the non-Muslims as your friends, as your protectors, as your helpers, as your supporters, because they will only be friends, allies, protectors, and supporters to themselves. He also says in another verse, all they desire is your ruin, your destruction. He also says in another verse, they will never accept you, no matter how you desire it, no matter what you do. The non-Muslims will never, ever accept you. This is clear. So Allah is speaking. He wasn't just speaking to the Prophet and the companions about the Quraysh. He was speaking to us in 2024. They will never accept us. So why are you participating in non-Muslim elections? Now, if they were running for garbage man of the year, that's different. But you're talking about putting a leader over you. And what's the Mekositic meaning of those verses? What is the Mekositic meaning of those verses? The prophet is clear. When Allah sent those verses down, the prophet told the companions, a non-Muslim can never, ever, ever be a ruler or leader over us. Our laws are for us, their laws are for them. This is clearness, clear verses. But here the companions had no problem understanding that. The companions had no problem accepting that. Remember, they submitted. They were true Muslims. They were people who submitted to Allah, to his decisions, to his commands. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said each generation of Muslims will become further and further and further and further away from me, away from you, my companions. Well, we are centuries later. That was in the year 600 and something. This is 2024. You got Muslims running around with their hands all over their head like the world is about to end, saying, what are we going to do? Who should we vote for? The answer is clear. Allah done told you. We don't vote for anyone. They're not Muslim. They don't have our interests at heart. They're never going to give you a voice. Some of you say, oh, we need to have a voice. Well, you will never have one. Not from them. They can stop the war. Oh, really? Who said that? Allah also says that war comes from him. He sends it when he wills. He says if all the creation on earth were to come together to stop what he has decreed, they wouldn't be able to lift a finger. The ink is dry. The book is sealed. Clearness. So what do? You do what Allah said do. When Allah sends war, when Allah sends calamities, when Allah sends hardships to the Muslims, what did Allah say to do? He said, check yourself. Fall back. What does that mean? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, fall back. What will suffice? The companions said, O Prophet of Allah, should we live to see the war, which they lived to see it. They experienced war. They said, what should we do in times of war? He said, La ilaha illallah will suffice. This is all Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari. Can't nobody refute Layla Nashiba. Not on this. That's why I'm notorious. Why is Layla Nashiba notorious? Because you can't refute me. I'm speaking the truth. Notorious. Telling you what you don't want to hear. Notorious. What you don't want to accept. But it's the truth. Fall back. Muslims in America. Fall back. Fall back on La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Ask yourself, what are you doing to cause Allah to do what he's doing? He already told you why he sends it. We got some weak Muslims. Why? Lesh. Why is Allah allowing children to die? What did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said? Don't cry over our children. Our children are in the form of green birds flying around the throne of Allah, waiting for the day that they can be reunited back into their bodies and intercede for their families. So what are you weak Muslims crying over the children for? Their parents ain't crying over the children. Their parents ain't crying at all. Just like the companions. That woman who lost both her sons, she said, you know I lost my husband and now I lost my boys. And oh prophet, you know how much my boys meant to me. Tell me, was it worth it? Tell me. He said, your sons are in El Firdaus, which is the highest. So don't cry over your boys. She said, I never cry over them. That's all I wanted to know. She said, give me a spear and let me go out there and fight too. That's a believer. That's how the believers roll in times of goodness and in times of fitting. You people got it? You weak Muslims in America who thinking that the kafir is going to save the world? Y'all got it? War comes from Allah. You can't stop it. Trump can't stop it. Carmela can't stop it. Can't nobody stop it, just like Trump didn't start it. Carmela didn't start it. Even that idiot in Israel, he didn't start it either. Allah willed it. The ink is dry. The book was long sealed. You Muslims, you weak ones, you have to be like those companions and submit. Like that woman, submit. Like the believers who are losing children in Gaza, submit to the qadr of Allah and say, Alhamdulillah. You Muslims got it? This is why Allah is sending this war and it ain't stopping. It's not going to stop because you're too weak. There's too many of us that's bad. Allah says he sends it to cleanse the earth. Too many of us got to go. We got too many bad Muslims. We got too many weak Muslims. We got to go. So it's not going to stop. Like the prophet said, it starts in the east. It will start in the east and spread to the west. It's going to hit us too. Just wait. Soon. 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 Allah speaks the truth. We don't say Sadaqallahu Adim after we read the Quran. That's innovation. We say it every day without reading it. Allah speaks the truth. He's cleansing the earth of the weak, bad, corrupt people, including Muslims. It's going to get to you too. Okay? So we submit. But unfortunately, guys, I was up looking at videos last night. You brothers need to stop talking about politics in other countries and put your nose right here in America where it belongs. What goes on in Saudi Arabia ain't none of your business. It ain't even affecting you. What goes on in the Emirates, what goes on in Kuwait, what goes on even in Gaza, ain't got nothing to do with you. You better put your nose right here because we are twisted. The Muslims here in America, many of the leaders who call themselves scholars in America, you guys are twisted. We got Muslim women who don't dress properly, who don't even know what La ilaha illallah means. They probably can't pronounce the Fatiha correctly or the Tashahu. They probably can't pronounce the Tashahu because most American speaking Muslims don't know the Tashahu. That's a fact. I know. I'm a daya. How many we've come through this website and we had to teach them? They've been Muslims all their life. Okay? Even born in Muslim countries. All right? We got Muslim women in positions of power, in positions of authority, congresswomen. They don't look like Muslim women. They don't dress like Muslim women. Oh, there's videos of them walking with the LGBTQ community, hugging drag queens. I've never seen them in a khimar. They wear turbans, which is a curse in and of itself too. And they call themselves scholars and people of authority. Then we got the brothers who call themselves scholars, with all their PhDs, with all their online institutes and schools supporting these women. Not only supporting them, but even saying it, we need to help the gay LGBTQ. Oh, yeah. We need to support the LGBTQTC community. America shouldn't have a voice in regards to morality. First of all, you ain't got no business having a voice because you're a Muslim. Our way, our laws, we have our own laws we abide by. We respect the laws of the land, but we do not take the laws of the land that contradict our Islamic values and incorporate them within ourselves. We are to enjoin what's good, forbid what's evil. We don't sit there and blend them and blur them together and mix them, talk about the good outweighs the evil. There ain't no good in homosexuality, period, dot. Allah says it's one of the 10 worst sins any person can commit. He destroyed a whole nation of people. Hello. We don't stand with that. We don't stand with any morals that contradict ours. We do well, bara. We distance ourselves from that. That's why you Muslims in America ain't got no business getting involved in the politics here. We live in this country. We respect the rules here. We're citizens here. But we know when to hold and know when to fold. Just like those companions. They knew when to hold and when to fold with the Abyssinians. They knew when to hold and when to fold with the Romans. They knew when to hold and when to fold with the Persians when they lived in their countries. You keep your mouth shut and do what Allah said, fall back on Wala Wala Bara, fall back on La ilaha illallah. And that's what we're going to be talking about today in this class, in this book. written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. May Allah bless him and forgive him of his sins. I mean, because he put it in English. English. For you American Muslims to read and understand what La ilaha illallah means. We're going to talk about inclusivity. Because that's what your Muslim leaders in America are today. They belong in the group of inclusivity. What does that mean? They include themselves into the politics of America, include themselves into the business of America, even that which contradicts our ideology. And they blur the lines and they mix them together. And this is what we're not supposed to do. This is what the prophet warned us to not do. This is what will bring our destruction. The prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, what's the source, Sahih Muslim? He said, he asked Allah. I asked Allah for 4 things. One of the things I asked him is to not allow my nation, my ummah, to be destroyed by its enemies. He said, Allah gave me that. But Allah said, your nation will never be overpowered. It will never be destroyed by its enemies. But I'm here to tell you, O Muhammad, your nation will be destroyed by itself. You Muslims will oppress yourselves, each other, imprison and kill each other. You will adapt the ways of the unbelievers, mix them with ours, and destroy each other. That's what your leaders here in America are doing, that you call Muslim scholars. I keep telling y'all, scholars come a dime a dozen. Give me a dime, and I'll show you 12 men in your circle who you consider a scholar because they know more than you. The true scholars, ain't no true scholars sitting up here in America advocating that garbage. How can you be a scholar of Islam and you're advocating and supporting gay rights? How can you be a scholar of this religion and you don't know your place as a woman? Where's your place? You forgot what your role is as a Muslim woman. You don't even know the Fatiha, probably. When is the last time you prayed? I can't see you taking a break from the drag queens to go make salat in the corner. I can't see you taking a break from the gay rights march to go make a salat in the corner when you got a turban on. You don't even have a jilbab on. We have to get it together. And that's what we're going to be speaking about tonight. So let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And you guys have to, I know I'm very passionate. The journalism is coming out of me today. The Barbara Wawa, I know. But it really made me sick when I saw the videos of these famous Muslim men and women in America who have the audacity to refer to themselves as scholars, breaking bread with LGBTQ and all other kind of stuff. Drag queens, I mean, get real. A drag queen? All right, so let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen for tonight's discussion. I'm not going to give you a quiz tonight, but there will be one tomorrow. So make sure you take notes and let me get it ready. Okay. Give me a second here. Okay. Okay. See if I'm still working it. Am I still working it right? Okay, here we go. Don't know why, but the kids, you know, My Sunnah follower kids like, oh, that's too big. They like to see me side by side with the PowerPoint. I don't know why. Let me make me a little small. Hope that's okay. I'll be the small version today. Let me make the PowerPoint bigger. Give me a second here. Hold on. All right. Okay. So tonight we're going to be covering pages 4. Hold on for a second. Yeah, you know, Shaitan. Shady is a lady in a mustache, likes to text me when I'm doing a class. All right. Today we'll be covering pages 455 through 459 of the book Diluting Wala Wala Bara. We're going to speak about inclusivism, the challenges that come with it. And you get to see how these famous brothers and sisters here in America who are part of the political arena have failed. They failed the challenge. Okay, so let's take a look at it. And again, when we talk about inclusivity, let's give a little background about it. The inclusivism approach. This deals with interfaith. The inclusivism, excuse how I pronounced it, guys, I'm sorry. This approach in interfaith dialogue acknowledges the merits of other religious beliefs while asserting that Islam is the full true belief. But it comes with hurdles that if you are not strong in your belief system, and also you have to be doing whatever you're doing, this interfaith dialogue, it has to be for the betterment of this nation for the sake of Allah, not for personal fame, which is why I think a lot of these brothers and sisters in America have blown it. They looking for fame. They looking for money. It has to be for the sake of Allah. If it's not for the sake of Allah, you're going to transgress the limits. And the number one challenge lies in keeping the assertion that Islam is the ultimate and the only way to Allah. I am a Muslim. I am not going to compromise my beliefs for you. I will respect your beliefs, but I am not going to adopt your belief. You understand? I respect the fact that you maintain the right to be LGBTQ. That's your business. But it totally goes against my belief. And since it goes against my belief, I'm not going to participate in this. I'm going to leave the table. When you guys are done with your LGBTQ stuff, then give me a call. Y'all understand that? You got to know when to hold and when to fold. I got to get out of this. I can't be a part of this platform. We can find something else to come together about, in other words. I'm not going to support you with LGBTQ. I have nothing to say except it's a disgrace. And I'm walking away from it. Call me when you get to an issue that doesn't contradict my belief. That's what inclusivity should consist of. Because again, Allah tells us in the interpretation of the meaning, the religion in the sight of Allah is Islam. That's it. So I'm sitting here at a table. There's a Christian here. There's a Jewish rabbi here. And now here comes an LGBTQ woman. Excuse me, what are you representing? Are you Christian? I'm representing the right to be gender, to choose my gender. Well, time to go. You book up, you pack up your papers and leave. You don't sit there and listen to them. You don't sit there and take part in it, which is what I've seen these famous brothers doing. They sitting at the round table with the LGBTQs and stuff, accepting what they say, and okay, we'll support you if you'll support this for me. And then they say the good outweighs the evil. Ain't no good in it at all. Period. Dot. You should have packed your briefcase and got up and walked away and told them to call you when it relates to something else. This ain't even about religion anymore. This is about somebody's right to be different. What does Allah say about being different than what he says? He says the only religion is Islam. Ain't no difference. This is how the men and women in America that's famous that y'all see on TV, these Muslims, they've lost it. They failed the challenge. Okay? Another hurdle. As Muslims, when we come together with other religions, we have to clarify that, again, I'm not compromising my belief. Let's talk about justice for all people, regardless of race. I can support that. I can support the fact that we need to stand together against disparate treatment based on race. I can support that. But I cannot support standing together inclusive of the rights of women to be a man. No. You added something to it that contradicts. Again, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, he said, I have been given words which are concise but comprehensive in meaning. So as Muslims, when we're sitting down at the table with these people, we have to be concise. We have to let the people know I'm here to support justice of all races and creed. I am not here to support a woman's desire to be a man, a man's desire to be an animal, or anything else but that. These brothers and sisters y'all see that are Muslim famous people in America, they blurred that. They support everything. It's on video. Okay? So we have to be careful with this inclusivity. If you're going to be inclusive, you have to also be clear that I'm only included in that which is truly good in the sight of my Lord, not what's good in the sight of your Lord. Does everybody understand that? So it's important for us to sit down. The Prophet Muhammad used to sit down. And remember, he sat down with the Jews. He sat down with the Jews in Medina, and he was inclusive with them. When they put together the first charter, the first constitution of Medina, but he let them know, I'm not compromising my beliefs. We can agree on anything as long as it doesn't compromise my values, my morals, my beliefs. Is that what you brothers and sisters in America are doing? That congresswoman. By the way, they got the video. Did y'all know? Y'all walking around. We got people here on my website. Y'all got her video on y'all Facebook pages. Did y'all know that she also signed a bill approving the sending of weapons to Israel? Oh, yeah. They got her signature. She's on there. She approved a lot of stuff. The gay stuff, the weapons to Israel, the support to Israel, her signature's on there. How are you Muslims advocating for her? She's a Zionist. I keep telling y'all, you have to be a Zionist to be in office here in America. First of all, you pledging your allegiance to that Constitution. And the Constitution states there's a separation of religion from politics here. So there's nothing wrong with sitting down with people of different ideologies and coming to an agreement with them, as long as you're not compromising our beliefs. Remember, Allah says in the interpretation of meaning, we created you from male and female and made you people and different tribes so you can get to know each other. But we have to maintain that Muslim identity when we learn about each other. You know, you tell me that you are a lesbian, I'm sorry. I can't hang with you. Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to distance myself from you. I'm not going to sit down with you and try to work out anything. Oh, no, because you totally contradict my lifestyle. Just like if you were to tell me you was a dope dealer. You a drug dealer? You sell drugs for a living? I'm not going to sit down at no round table with you and support the fact that you sell drugs, that you killing people every day. These men and women in America who call themselves Muslim leaders, why don't they go sit down with the drug cartel? What's the difference? You advocating LGBTQ, I guess you're going to advocate the selling of drugs too. So again, when we talk about being inclusive, this gives us the means of coming together on a common ground, but it brings about challenges. The ground that we come together on cannot be a ground that contradicts our ideology. That's how the prophet did it with the Jews. They agreed on things that had nothing to do with Islamic belief systems. Y'all understand that? We all about non-discrimination. I can support that based on race, based on color. But now you want to talk about based on your desire of who to have sex with? I don't support that. Abortion, I don't support that. Abortion is against Islam. I have nothing. I can't sit with you on that. Call me when you got something to bring to the table that I can do. Everybody understand that? And so what I like here is how what Kareem Abu Zayd did is he then put together some practical steps that we as Muslims can use to help in interfaith dialogues. For example, first of all, learn what it is you coming to the table to discuss. He said before entering an interfaith dialogue, have a solid understanding of what it is that you guys are supposed to be coming together about. Okay? And make sure it doesn't go against Wala Wala Bara. Okay? And also revisit your own teachings. Revisit your own teachings to make sure that if you do work together with these people, you're not compromising your Islamic values. So set clear objectives. Let it be known, I am only here to discuss racism. I am not here to discuss LGBTQ. I am here to offer my support against racism. I am not here to have anything to do with LGBTQ. Okay? And also choose a setting that promotes an unbiased and respectful exchange, free from pressure, free from antagonism. That way, you don't have to worry about anybody trying to pressure you to do something that compromises our Islamic ideas. For example, meet at a community center or an auditorium instead of a church or a synagogue or something like that. All right? Or a Mason temple. Oh yeah, the Masons, that's Zionism. And also make sure that when you begin the conversation, when you meet with the other people, I'm going to initiate the conversation by emphasizing again and highlighting again the reason why we are here. We're not here for LGBTQ. We're here for racism because Black lives matter, because white lives matter, because Arab lives matter, because all lives matter. We're not here to discuss anything about no LGBTQ. So make that your starting point, okay? Also, remember, Allah is watching you, and you are representing Allah's religion, Islam, Wala Wala Bara. So make sure that you present the teachings and principles of our way of life without diluting them, like these famous brothers are doing right now as I speak. And these women who don't know that Allah made Steve and not Eve, you know. SubhanAllah, hold on for a second. Let me check this. This is a message from, okay, yeah, good job. All right, yeah, okay, good job. Okay, so, you know, you don't want to be like these brothers and sisters today who dilute the principles of Islam, you know, and dilute our practices. For example, some of these famous women, like we were talking about earlier today, they're going around telling you that there's no verse in the Quran that says a woman has to cover her head. You idiot. Yes, there are several verses where Allah refers to us wearing the khimar. It ain't our fault that you don't speak Arabic properly. You speak slang and not the Fusha. So you don't want to be like those people. They dilute the principles of Islam. They dilute our teachings to try to make them blend in with the non-Muslims. And again, when it comes to our differences, acknowledge them and address them openly but respectfully. Why is it that I won't participate in this LGBTQ? Because it's against my belief system. It's against human nature. Allah didn't create us that way. It's against everybody's religion. So that's it. And respectfully, I'm exiting. Stage left. Okay? And also, you have to be able to listen well, too. And this is another problem with Muslims today. Even with my students here, we don't listen. A lot of you are listening to me, but you're hearing me. But how many of you are listening to me? There's a difference between hearing something and listening to it. You're going to have to be an active listener in order to know how to separate that which contradicts Islam from that which doesn't. So we have to be good listeners. Listen to how people describe their beliefs. Listen to what people claim that they're fighting for. Don't just hear them. Listen. And then you have to engage in open-ended questions as part of your discussion. Ask questions so that everybody is clear. That everybody is clear on what we're coming together for. Now, I want to make it clear. We're coming together about racism, right? We're not going to throw in animal rights, are we? We're not going to throw in women's rights. And also share personal stories with the people as well. Share a personal story as to how Islam guided you and how Islam helped you through a challenging time. How Islam helped you to overcome racism. How Islam helped you to accept the fact that Allah, this was his will. This was his intent for us all to be different. And always, be respectable with others. You don't want to raise your voice and yell and scream. And you also don't want to be like these brothers. I'm going to tell y'all something. When I was watching the videos, listen to the videos of these brothers and these sisters that are in America who call themselves famous Muslim scholars and stuff. The men are so soft-spoken. They got those beautiful, handsome, trimmed beards, and they speak so softly. They speak so eloquently. Oh, they never raised their voice louder than this. They never raised their voice louder than this. You will never hear them sounding like Layla Nashiba. They'll never speak like Layla Nashiba. And then the women, the congresswoman, she sounds like a baby. Hello, everyone. I'm here to discuss. Oh, she sounds like a little polyandry baby. People respect that. These are the people that the prophet talked about. They can chew, they can speak like a cow chews its cud. They can hypnotize you with their soft voices, their eloquent words, their precision of diction. Okay? That's how they end up mesmerizing you. Got you guys thinking that they're scholars. Got you guys believing y'all can go out and vote. Got you guys believing that you should get up and go and vote. Even though Allah says it in several verses, we can't do that. The Prophet Muhammad says was clear, we can't do that. I hear a lot of you are voting for the woman. What did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say about that? He said, any nation that appoints a woman as its leader, it will never succeed. It will always fail. But I heard that many of you Muslims in the South are coming together to go vote for Kamala, because y'all think that she's y'all savior. When has a woman ever been anybody's savior? Most wars were started because of women. Look in our Muslim communities. Most of the fitna that's going on in our communities was started by women. Look how many of you people hate me. A lot of you brothers hate me because your wives convinced you to, because of their jealousy. Come on, guys, but you guys are coming together as we speak right now. We got some masajids in the South here in America meeting to support Kamala. Forget what Allah says. Forget what the Prophet said. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also, as Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd put here, throughout the entire conversation and your interactions with these people, you have to maintain the principles of allegiance and disassociation. You got to know when to walk away, when to walk out. You got to know when to adjourn the meeting. And if you should agree, stay in contact with the people who are supporting you, and make sure that they understand that nothing has changed. And always seek advice from the Islamic scholars. I ain't talking about the famous personalities in America. I'm talking about the real scholars of the ulama. And ain't none of them going to tell you that you should be voting in these presidential elections. They're all going to tell you what I'm telling you, that Allah is in control. You want to stop the war in Gaza? Call upon Allah. Okay? So again, if we conscientiously apply these tactics and these steps, then you can actively participate in interfaith dialogues without compromising your Islamic integrity, without compromising your Islamic identity, and without compromising our Islamic teachings. Okay, so that's what I wanted to go over today. And like I said, this is a big issue because the Muslims in America are riling up. I understand as I'm speaking right now, people are texting me that their masajids are having meetings and got people, some of these famous people I'm talking about, coming in to talk about why we should vote. That shows how much these people believe la ilaha illallah. That shows where their allegiance is to. We're going to pick and choose what parts of this religion to accept. You would think after what y'all did with Obama that you would have learned. He sent the weapons that congressman signed and agreed to. That female who forgot what her role is and where she's supposed to be. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Any questions or any comments on this? Any questions or comments? And by the way, guys, Brother Youssef did a great lecture yesterday. Please check out the shorts. I made a lot of shorts and put them on YouTube of the key points he talked about. 5 reasons. 5 reasons as to why why voting is haram. Voting for non-Muslims is haram. 5 great reasons he gave as to why it's haram. Although we should never ask why, we should just submit like the companions did. Just accept what Allah says and accept what the prophets say and submit. Okay, but since we don't want to do that, I put the shorts out, 5 shorts from his lecture as to why we shouldn't take part in any of these political elections. Please make sure you check them out on YouTube, and also they're on Facebook. All right. And also, before we end, we have another class tonight for the sisters. I want y'all to pay attention. Dr. Ibrahim Jamali will be joining at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will discuss the other rights that Allah has given women from Surah Baqarah. We're going to begin with verses 228, which speaks about rights for women. We don't have to support LGBTQ. We don't have to be a part of no women's rights. Allah liberated us and gave us rights. Whose fault is it that you sisters don't know what your rights are? That's your fault. You too busy trying to be like the Kafir women. You too busy trying to be like Michelle. You too busy trying to be like Kamala. Instead of wasting your time and energy on American politics, go learn your deen. Learn that you were liberated in the 6th century. The rights that Kamala and them still don't have were given to you in the 6th century. And you don't even know it because you're too busy trying to keep up with the Kamalas, trying to keep up with the Kardashians, trying to keep up with the Obamas when you should have been keeping up with the Abdullahs. Hello, goodbye in your eye. All right. So no other questions or comments. I'm going to log out for right now. Please make sure you guys share my channel, share my lecture, share my comments, because the Muslims in America, remember when we die, the angel of death, when they pull your soul, they're going to ask you, why didn't you know it was haram? That woman that you couldn't like, you know, notorious. You was too busy calling her notorious. You should have been listening to what she was saying because she was speaking the truth. You just didn't want to accept it. That's why she's notorious. Those other women are famous. I'm notorious. I'll take notoriety. I'll take notoriety over fame any day. Aisha, radiallahu anha, was notorious. And she still is notorious. They still hate Aisha today. Salama, notorious. Khadijah, notorious. I'll take notoriety any day and I'll wear it with pride. You do the LGBTQ pride. I'm doing the Islamic pride. All right? Okay, so I'll be back, inshallah, at 9 o'clock. Please make sure you guys are here. And also, please support us. It's the end of the month. Today is the 27th. The 1st will be here in a few days. If you guys enjoy coming here to learn Islam in its truthfulness, in grassroots, broke down English, not Arabic, from a woman that has no problem speaking the truth, please support this dawah effort, you know. All right, so I'm going to log out. I'll be back at 9. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta.